Hey, it is 12 noon on Wednesday, which means it's time for our weekly episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Criswell. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to talk about the technical side of the real estate industry. And there's a lot of people getting the real estate license right now and thinking about getting the real estate license right now. And so what we want to do is talk to you guys specifically, or maybe if you've just gotten your license, the pathway that we would recommend for your success, what it is that you should be doing to be making money right away in the real estate industry rather than being one of the people that make some mistakes. So we'll talk about some of the commonly made mistakes by new agents, some of the things it is that you should look for and the things it is that you should do to maximize your success and really hit the ground running when you launch a real estate career. So that's what we're talking about today, starting a real estate career. I'm John Criswell. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and you are watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert. Hey, welcome to Ask the Instructor. My name is John Criswell. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to mastermind, to talk about the technical side of the real estate industry, and answer these more in-depth questions. Maybe some of the stuff that goes over and beyond the stuff it is that you learn in your pre-licensing class, or your post-licensing class, or any of the courses it is that you take with us. Some of the ways where we can take that information that you learn in the course and put it now into the real-world application of that. So that's Ask the Instructor. And what we're talking about today is if you're launching a real estate career. So a lot of people getting the real estate license right now. A lot of people getting into real estate. And it's a smart move right now because the market is on the rise. There's projected to be an increase in just the Tampa Bay area alone this year of 300,000 new people. 300,000 new people. And whether they're owning property or whether they're renting property, there's opportunities for us to earn a commission on either one of those situations, so renting or owning. And when we talk about kind of, plotting out your success in the real estate industry and making sure that you're having a successful start to your real estate career, a lot of this comes down to the definition, to defining what it is and who it is that you're looking to serve. So you could take on that expert information. With your real estate license, it opens up so many possibilities. I mean, there's the typical, what people most think about when they think about dealing with getting a real estate license is doing residential sales for just home buyers looking to buy a place it is that they want to live. But even within residential sales, there's a lot of subcategories there. There's the high-end, ultra high-end luxury homes. There's the mid-level homes, there's the lower price point homes, which are typically more of a target for real estate investors. There's different types of homes. There's condos, there's single family homes, there's townhomes, there's beach houses. There's so many ways just to get specific just in that category of residential sales, which, like I said, is where most people think about when they think about getting a real estate license. But there's also residential leasing. Residential leasing is huge right now because the rate of ownership it's still very high, comparatively speaking. It's still higher than the amount of renters out there, but there's a huge share right now, larger share than it's ever been of the market for renting. And especially when we see these new developments that are going in, all the new apartment complex and buildings it is that they're putting in all over the Tampa Bay area, those developers aren't going to make any money unless they have tenants and units. If they don't have tenants and units, they don't make any money. And yes, they're going to try to market and get tenants and units themselves, but probably 99% of the time, these new apartment complexes will pay you a very hefty commission, sometimes to the tune of as much as 3 months rent. As much as 3 months rent just for helping them get a tenant, bringing them a tenant that's interested in living there and they sign a lease there. Now, it's not always up to 3 months rent. The big advantages and the big opportunities are the apartment complexes, which are typically the new ones. They've invested a lot of money in building this apartment complex, but they don't have any tenants in it. So they'll incentivize us as real estate professionals to bring our clients to them. And these clients that are renting today, they may be purchasing tomorrow or next year, maybe when their lease is up. A lot of people that are transitioning. And so this is another thing it is that you got to carve out. And you want to ask yourself these questions to really define your target audience of who it is that you want to work with, so you could specialize yourself. So you could specialize yourself to those particular type of people. And let's say that you're looking to specialize for people that are moving to the Tampa Bay area. Well, a lot of people moving to the Tampa Bay area don't want to purchase a home right away. I can't tell you how many people it is that I've talked to that are new to the Tampa Bay area that are looking to rent for a little bit so they can kind of feel out the area, find out what areas it is that they like, where it is that they want to live before they make the commitment to a 30-year mortgage, to a mortgage payment they're having every month on a property it is that they actually own. So even though they're renting today, and this is where a lot of rental agents will neglect their past clients, is they don't stay in touch with them for the bigger sale down the road. Yeah, you might make a few $1,000s getting them into some brand new luxury apartment, but you'll make much more than that on the sale of a home when they're looking to purchase a home. So it's very important that you stay in touch as well. And we're going to be talking about all this, but really that's the first thing it is that you want to think of, is you want to define your audience. Or define your we'll call it a customer base. We'll just call it a customer. We'll use simple words here to make this simple. Define your customer. Your ideal customer, who it is that you're looking to work with. Are you looking to work with renters? Are you looking to work with buyers? Or maybe you're looking to do some sort of property management. That's another opportunity that exists with having a real estate license. Maybe you're looking to get into the commercial space. Maybe you're looking to deal with commercial leases of offices. Those are really hefty commissions, especially for larger properties with long-term leases. So you've got to define who it is that you want to work with. Now, I'll just tell you up front, and this probably isn't going to be news to you, but the biggest share of the market is going to be in residential. That's where most of the transactions, the highest number of transactions occur, is residential, because everyone needs a place to live, whether they're owning or whether they're renting, they need a place to live. So that's where the highest volume of transactions are, and that's where there's the greatest need for real estate professionals. Now, that is a competitive space. Like all spaces in real estate, it is competitive, but the more it is that you define the customer of who it is that your ideal customer is, the better it is that you'll be able to kind of tailor your approach to helping those type of individuals. Maybe you want to work with first-time home buyers. Now, first-time home buyers, they usually have the lower price points. You're usually looking maybe around $200,000, maybe about $300,000 on the higher end, maybe as low as $100,000. That's your scope there where you're looking. So when you're defining your audience, that's going to help us as we go further down, so you understand what type of actions it is that you have to do to monetize what it is that you're doing. But first, it starts with defining who it is that you want to work with, having a very clear idea, because that's going to dictate how it is that you move forward. So number one, define who it is that you want to work with. Now, once you've figured that ideal type of customer, maybe it's not a first-time home buyer. Maybe you're looking, because with first-time home buyers, it is a little bit more complicated of a process. Maybe you're looking to work with people that are second-time home buyers or third-time home buyers, making that kind of trade up into a larger property. Not only does our price point typically get higher here, but these are people that have already been through this. It's a little bit simpler of a process as well. Look, there's money to be made in either one. And, depending on your market, and when I say market, the Tampa Bay area is a market, but it's not a market that you're trying to target. You want to narrow down to, okay, what particular neighborhoods do I want to be perceived as the expert? And do the people in this neighborhood, do they line up with my target customer? So we define our target customer. Number two, we need to know where our target customer is. So we figure out who it is that we want to work with, but now we need to answer the question of where are they? And we want to research the neighborhoods of where it is that we're looking to concentrate our efforts to tap into our target customer. And if you find that the target customer, the ideal customer it is that you want to work with, you can't really nail down where it is that they are, that's going to make this a little bit more difficult for you. So that might be where you have to rethink who your target customer is. So let's deal with a couple examples here. First-time home buyer. where would we find first-time home buyers? Biggest opportunity for this are renters. And now, how is it that we could tap into somebody like a renter and potentially convert them into somebody that buys a home? And we're not even necessarily having to make the hard sale here, because they probably already want to purchase a home. They're probably already tired of forking away the money every single month without seeing any sort of return other than the immediate gratification of the place it is that they're living in. They're not seeing any long-term equity buildup. So a lot of people already understand this, that they would rather own than rent. But now we figured out, okay, where are they? We're looking for renters, and where do we find renters? Apartments are going to be where you have your biggest clusters of renters. Yes, there's going to be people that are renting single-family homes, but people that are already renting a single-family home, they're going to be a little bit less likely to actually purchase a single-family home. Now, going from, because a lot of people aren't going to enjoy living in apartments, especially if they have that dream of owning a single-family home. You know, some people that are living in an apartment looking for a condo, that's going to be the harder transition, because it's overall going to be similar. The way that it's payment and the way it's structured for the financial side of it is different, absolutely, but it's ultimately a very similar living situation. But people that live in apartments, and apartments where the rents are going to be comparable to a mortgage payment for something that's going to be a comparable, or even better yet, an upgrade of a living situation. So we've identified where these people are, so we know where it is that we've got to focus our efforts. But now, number 3, we've got to ask ourselves what's important to them. What is their main benefits that would associate with them the most? So let's say we've defined our customer. Okay, we want to work with first-time home buyers. Now we ask the question, well, where do we find first-time home buyers? Best place to find them are in apartments. And we're maybe searching in apartments that are, they're not the nicest apartments, because when somebody's living in an uber luxury apartment that is super nice, where, there's concierge and there's all kinds of great amenities, that's going to be a much more difficult sell going into a single-family home, unless it's one of maybe these master plan communities. Some of these master plan communities, I was looking at a video the other just this morning, maybe some pictures it was, of that new lagoon, the Criswell Lagoon out in Wesley Chapel, and all the things it is that they have there, like yoga, all kinds of like crazy little obstacle things in there. They had like the people with those little hoverboard things that go with the jet skis out there, like surfing around in it. So all kinds of crazy amenities there. So these are the questions you've got to ask. You want to know what answers to expect from these customers. That's what makes you a more effective salesperson, is you already have an understanding of this person and the things that are important to them. So when you speak, it makes sense to them. When you speak, you're just not rambling around talking about random things that don't benefit them directly, but you're speaking to things it is that they're interested in. This is such a wide space. It's such a broad market that applies in so many different categories. We've got to narrow down our focus and narrow down our messaging to best associate with the people it is that we're looking to serve. And that's why it's so important that you do this exercise to understand who your target customer is. Where do we find them? Because when we're looking for these people, we don't sit around. You can sit around. This is, like I said, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that agents make. The number one mistake that agents make is they wait for business to come to them. If you wait for business to come to you, you're putting the universe, you're putting external circumstances in control. But if you're being proactive and bringing yourself to the business, if you're out there seeking the business and you're not sitting around waiting for the business, you're taking control of the important factor of having people to do business with. I've seen so many new agents, they just make like a Facebook post, and that's a good start because they're reaching out there a little bit, but they'll make a Facebook post and they tell you, I just got my real estate license, contact me. And you see these posts and maybe some of them are like, oh, congratulations and things like that, but you don't really see a lot of people, just reaching out and grabbing them. And when you're passive as opposed to active and seeking out the business, you're going to have a lot slower start. You will eventually get deals the more persistent it is that you are, but if you're looking to take time out of the equation, if you're looking to speed up your sales so you're not waiting 6 months, a year, 2 years to get your first deal closed, you've got to seek out business. But when you're seeking out business, I mean, you don't want to just go randomly down the street and walk up to people, hey, you need to buy or sell a house? Hey, you need to buy or sell a house? I mean, that could work. It's better than being passive. It's better than just sitting back in your office waiting for business to come to you. So if we define where it is that we want to go, maybe you go knock doors and go door knocking in a community. You know what? Maybe you don't like door knocking. Maybe you call on the phone. You don't like cold calling? Maybe you just send a letter or send a postcard. Or maybe use some sort of digital advertising that's going to focus on the people that live in the area where those apartment complexes are. So there's so many ways to reach these people and actually be active to find them. Some of the ways aren't really going to cost you any money. Door knocking is great because it's free. Facebook is great, but it does require investment. It does require you to put money in there. And I recommend that you put the effort in, that you use the sweat equity up front. But one of the biggest mistakes is just being passive and waiting for business to come to you. There's a lot of people out there with a real estate agent, and a lot of them are sitting around waiting for business to come to them. And that's the biggest mistake, not only of new agents, but experienced agents as well. That they start to get complacent and they're just stop growing and trying to seek out new business, that they're just sitting around waiting for business to come to them. You have to go to the business. You go to the business, that's where you're guaranteeing your success. That's where you're taking control of your feed of clients by actually going out there and seeking out the clients and not stopping until you find people that are ready to transact. There's going to be a lot of people that you meet that are not ready to transact. But once you've weeded through them, you'll find the people that are ready to transact. But that's one of the big lessons that is going to really be impactful throughout the life of your career. Don't wait for business to come to you. Go to the business. Don't be passive. Be active. So I want to get down to fleshing out some of the things that are important. So when we're going out to this business, that we know what it is that we should say, what it is that these people are looking to hear, the things that are going to be interesting to them. Because that's important when you're trying to seek out business, is bringing them information that's relevant to them, that they actually care about, that they're interested in. And we're going to talk about that some more, but first we're going to take a quick commercial break, so stick with us. I'm John Criswell. You're watching Ask the Instructor. If you've been thinking about real estate, look, in this current market, it's hard not to. There's so many opportunities that exist out there for residential real estate, commercial real estate, business brokerage, property management. I mean, it's ridiculous how much opportunity lies from having a real estate license. So look, if you've been thinking about getting a real estate license, I mean, it's minimal cost compared to starting other careers and starting other businesses to get into this. So I urge you to check it out and give it a try. I mean, even if you're just using your license for personal use, you've got huge, immense benefits there. Go to this link. It's licensefl.com. That's licensefl.com. Put that link in the description. It's got your step-by-step guide to get a Florida real estate license. And look, check it out. Give us a call. We're here to answer any questions it is that you have, and go out there and make some money.
Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com. Did you know that statewide only about 50% of test takers pass their state exam on the first try? At the Tampa School of Real Estate, we've broken down passing class and state exams into 4 simple steps: learning the information, reinforcing the information, testing your knowledge, and being confident and prepared. View the details of the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Criswell. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to talk about the technical side of the real estate industry. And today, we're talking about launching your real estate career. And these are important questions that you want to ask yourself to plan for your success in real estate, to make sure that you're ready, you know what to do and who to seek out to actually make money. You don't want, the biggest mistake is being passive. So many new agents will just go get their license and then just sit around and wait for business to come to them. And it takes a long time for business just to come randomly show up to you. If you're not out there at the very least letting people know, saying, hey, got a real estate license here, use me, at the very least. And that's not even going to be something that's going to make you six figures in your first year. If you're looking to really go out there and make some serious money in real estate, you've got to be intentional. You've got to be active. You have to do things, not just sit around and wait for things to happen to you. So part of this kind of whole doing, because if we're just out there, running around like a chicken with our head cut off, just trying to find anybody that wants to sell a house, that's going to not only stress us out, because there's so much that's unpredictable, but also make it more difficult on us. But if we're seeking out a particular type of client, and depending on where it is that you're looking for business, if we're going to apartments looking for business, those are first-time home buyers that are going to be there. Those are people that are currently renting, and even if they had owned a property before, they're considered a first-time home buyer if, for a lot of programs, if they haven't owned a property, I think it's in like 3 years. So if they haven't owned a property in the last 3 years, for most programs, they're considered a first-time home buyer, and they're qualified for all the same first-time home buyer programs as somebody who had never owned a property before. So that's who you're dealing with apartments, and you've got to really define what's important to them. So look, test this out. Depending on your approach, depending on how it is that you're trying to reach these people, you want to test. You want to see what works and keep track of what works and what doesn't work, and do more of what works. Don't do what doesn't work. So figuring out what's important to people that are renting. So number one, equity. So equity buildup is huge for people that are a first-time home buyer, that are currently renting, because right now they might write a check or have a direct withdrawal or however it goes for $2,000 a month, and all that money that goes towards their living expenses, but next month they've got to pay it all again. And anything that they've paid the previous month doesn't help them at all for the next month. And it's just constant cycle. If you stop paying, 3 days of non-payment and they can evict you. And there's no return on the investment from renting. Now, it does give you flexibility, it does give you mobility, it does give you the options, but ultimately it's not a great long-term solution, especially for somebody who is looking to stay in a place for so many years. That's somebody that's looking for the equity buildup. So equity buildup is huge. But most people already know about the equity buildup. So you want to gauge the things it is that your target customer already knows about. Because if they already know about something, if you're not bringing them new information that's going to help them, they're not going to be interested. They're going to say, yeah, I know about equity buildup, but I just like renting better. Or maybe there's some sort of reason or excuse it is that they have, some sort of objection to purchasing. And that's what we want to get to. But we want to know what's important, because some people might not know the equity buildup. They might not know about that. And this is where, if you look at if we pull up amortization, matter of fact, let's pull up an amortization calculator right now, just so you could, and you learn about amortization in your pre-licensing course. You actually learn how to amortize a mortgage. And what amortization tells you is basically how much interest you pay versus how much principal. So let's pick and you can just Google amortization calculator, be able to do this on your own. You'll learn about how to calculate this on the exam, but it is faster to just use these calculators because it is a lot of math for this here. So put in a purchase. Let's say they're purchasing, let's put a $200,000 home. That's a pretty typical home for a first-time home buyer. We'll put a 30-year mortgage. We'll leave the interest rate as the 5.25% they've got in here. You put in the zip code for the area it is that you're looking for. That information, it'll start to give you these numbers here. So we start out with a $200,000 loan. So we've got a $200,000 loan, and let's say if we just go 1 year. In 1 year, they're going to have built up almost $3,000 of additional equity from their payments. Let's say now, because that doesn't, okay, $3,000, it's a good bit of change. But now, the way amortization works, the longer it is that you're in this amortization cycle, the more it is that you start actually seeing a return on. So let's go down out to, let's say if we're at 2020. So today, 2018, just 2 years down the road to May 2020, 2 years, they've got $10,000 in equity. Regardless of what happens to the value of the home, this is just by paying down the mortgage loan. So 2 years, $10,000. Now, that mortgage payment might be similar. Let's see if it's got a mortgage payment amount in here. Yeah, look at this. For a $200,000 mortgage, it's got an estimated monthly payment here. This may vary of $1,100. So if you're going to somebody who's paying $2,000 a month in rent and you tell them, hey, what if I told you that you could pay only $1,100 a month and in 2 years you could have an extra $10,000 that's coming from that $1,100 you're paying a month? Now, do you have their attention? If they're not a number person, they might be a little confused about the numbers, and that's why, again, you've got to gauge the person it is that you're talking to, but that's a great opener. If we could cut your payment in half and you could have an extra $10,000 in 2 years, would that be something it is that you're interested in? And let's say, they're like, oh, well, $10,000, 2 years, that's not big of a deal. Let's go out a little bit further. So 2018, 2019, 2020, let's take a look at by 2025. So May of 2025, your balance on this amortization that we figured out here would be $172,000 and some change. So almost $28,000. So what if I told you that we could cut your payment in half and have you equity, regardless of whether the real estate market goes up or down, of $28,000? And if the real estate market goes up, you're going to be looking at significantly more than that. It's a pretty smart move. So this is the equity buildup. And you don't want to just know that, equity buildup is good. Some of our money will go towards the rent, it'll go towards the actual property, we'll get it back. You've got to make it real for them. And look, whenever it is that you're you want to look at how much it costs to rent a unit in this particular apartments. Because if it costs $1,000, we're no longer cutting the rent in half. We're no longer making that half of what it was. We're looking about the same payment, and even that sounds compelling. What if I could match the same payment you're paying in rent, but by 2025, you'll have an extra $28,000. Does that sound interesting to you? Sound interesting to me. And even that 2 years number of $10,000, that will probably raise some eyebrows and get people interested. That's what you're trying to do, and you're giving them what's important to them. You're speaking to what's important to them, because if you're talking to somebody who already owns a home, they already know about this. They already get their mortgage statements every month and see how much it is that they pay down. But with somebody who's new to this, that's a first-time home buyer, like I said, you've got to define what makes sense to them. So equity buildup is huge, but quantify that equity buildup. Make sense out of it. Use an amortization calculator. And like I said, this is a skill it is that you learn in the pre-licensing course. You actually learn how to do this math. And it's not really important that you know how to do the math, but it's important that you understand what amortization is. And that's why you have to learn how to do the math in the course, so you understand how this all works, what these numbers actually mean. Because that's a pretty compelling reason to go purchase a home. And if the market appreciates at all, we're talking about much more than that. So equity buildup, huge benefit. And that's with the market staying the same. The market said this home today being worth exactly the same in 2020, and you've got $10,000 there. So equity buildup. The other thing that I would say would be a big benefit is space. You got to look at the areas it is that you're targeting, where the apartments are, but a lot of these new apartments, they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller, especially in our urban centers, especially in the urban areas. They're small. And whenever there's more than just one person living in that particular apartment, and how do we find that out? We ask the question somehow. When we're in a communication with them, whether it is that we're door knocking or whether it is that we're calling them or whether it is that they call us off of an advertisement it is that we've sent them. However it is that you start the communication, you want to ask, well, who else lives with you? Who else will be living with you at the new home? And whenever it's more than one person, that space is going to be a huge selling point. Because the single-family homes are inherently more spacious than apartments, even in urban areas. So space is huge. But now you also want to understand the things it is that they might object to. The things it is that make them where they're still a renter. Even though they already want to buy before it is that you've even spoken to them, the things it is that, they think it's not possible or that it's not real. Now, if they're thinking about it being not real, that's where we go to the equity buildup. Hey, I know people have probably told you before that, owning is always smarter than renting, but did you actually know how much it is that you could have built up in just 2 years' time? If we take your mortgage payment, we cut it in half, and with a standard amortization at a relatively higher rate than what's available in the market right now, so even if you don't have the best of credit, that's $10,000 in 2 years. Crazy, right? And now this is what's going to build interest. This is going to get them actually thinking about this. The first-time home buyer programs. So when we're dealing with first-time home buyers, there's a lot of first-time home buyer programs that exist out there. One of the objections they might have is, well, my credit really isn't that good right now. Well, if your credit is good enough, would you be interested in purchasing? If we could get a lender that would give you a loan at reasonable terms with your credit currently, would you consider purchasing? So these are all the things you want to understand. The reason why you want to know your audience, you want to know your target customer. So when they talk to you and they say, oh, my credit's not good. Oh, well, yeah, geez, your credit's not good. All right, well, yeah, well, have a nice day. It's been nice talking to you. You want to be the knowledgeable professional. And there's so much knowledge that exists in the real estate industry, it's impossible to know everything. I don't care how long it is that you've been in the real estate business, it's impossible to know everything. I mean, you forget a lot of stuff in the real estate business, but when you have a specialization, when you're seeking out first-time home buyers and you're developing a system, that's what a business is. A business is a system that takes something, improves the value for the customer, offers value to the customer, and earns money in exchange. So when we've got this system, we know what's on the minds of our first-time home buyers. When they bring up the issue about credit, it's like, oh, well, look, don't worry about that. We've helped a lot of people get into a home, even with terrible credit. So I'm sure we've worked with people with worse credit than yours. If we could get you a reasonable loan with your current credit and current situation, if we could get that taken care of, would you consider buying? So when you know what it is that they're going to say, you could have a response. You could know how to handle that complaint. Home buying sounds really awesome, but my credit isn't good. Well, look, I completely agree. I know credit's a big thing, but let me tell you this. We've actually worked with a lot of people that never thought they'd been able to purchase a home before, but we've made it possible for them. If we can make it possible for you with your current credit, with little to no modification of what it is that you're doing now, and get you a loan with reasonable terms, would you consider purchasing? And if they still say no, well, what else would be holding you back other than the credit? Oh, well, it's just a big commitment. I'm not really sure where it is that they want to live for, the next 5 years, next 7 years, next 10 years, or whatever it is that they're saying. I'm not ready to commit. Okay, so that's their objection. That's their complaint it is that they're giving you, that I'm not ready to commit. Look, I completely understand. I agree. This is a big decision. This is a huge decision. Now, whenever somebody gives you some sort of complaint, some sort of objection, some sort of reason why they don't want to act, you always want to agree with them. Because if you don't agree with them, if you say, oh, well, no, don't worry about that, you'll be happy about it in the end. Oh, well, I don't know. No, trust me, you will be. And now it's a back and forth of arguing. And arguing is going to get you nowhere with customers. It gets you nowhere. But now when we agree that, yes, it is a big decision, it is a big commitment, which, are we lying? Absolutely not. It is a big decision. It is a big commitment. But if we could find an area it is, I completely agree with you, Mr. Potential Buyer or Mrs. Potential Buyer. I completely agree with you. Whatever their name is, you wouldn't say potential buyer. So I agree with you, Sue. But look, Sue, if we could find you a neighborhood it is that you would really love, and we get that mortgage situation figured out, would you consider purchasing? Yes, I would. Okay, so now we know the two things it is that we've got to figure out. We got to make sure we're going to be able to get them a loan, so we get them in touch with a loan officer, a good loan officer, a loan officer that specializes in first-time home buyers, because different lenders have different programs. Some of them are great for first-time home buyers. Other ones, they wouldn't have a shot as a first-time home buyer. So we've got to know the right people we bring together. That's what our job is as a real estate professional. We're bringing people together. So, okay, we've got to get them paired up with the right loan officer that's going to have great first-time home buyer programs, that's going to be able to get them approved. So we've got to make that connection. And if the lender it is that we send them to isn't able to get it done, who else? Who else can make this possible? Because there's lenders out there vying for their business. Lenders that are better than other lenders. Not overall better, but better for that particular client. They have a program that better matches the needs of that client. And so getting them in touch with the right people, or the right lender, that's essential, especially if they're worried about being able to obtain that financing. Well, let's see if we can. Let's find out. You'd be surprised how many people get approved for financing. Talk to my friend here at this company. Real good person, real great person. They really care about their clients. And even if you're not able to get approved now, they'll tell you what it is that you need to do. So 6 months, a year down the road, you'll be ready. And even if they say, well, I'm not ready to buy yet. Well, when I completely understand, I completely agree with that. Remember, always lead in with the agreeing. I agree that, this is a big decision and you might not be ready for this year. I mean, maybe you still have 6 months on your lease or whatever that may be. I completely agree. If we could get you out of your lease early, if I could get you out of your lease early, would you consider buying? And they're going to think that that's not possible. They're going to think that you can't get them out of their lease early. And how do we get people out of leases early? Well, there's two options in most leases in Florida. Number one is that they've got to pay 3 months. I believe it's 3 months, maybe 2 months in a cancellation fee. It's usually about 3 months. So we might be talking, if they're paying $2,000 a month, $6,000. So how do we take care of that $6,000? We negotiate that into the deal. We negotiate that. That's what we do. We negotiate. We find a seller and we get $6,000 in concession to be able to pay for that. Or, they have the steeper option of they've got to pay. That's the second option. The second option is where they're paying rent until the end of their term. So the two options in most Florida leases are, number one, they've got to pay so many months rent, usually 3, or number two, that they've got to pay for the entire term, the entire remainder of the lease, which that's a little bit more expensive. But even if that's $10,000, $12,000, let's look to see if this is possible, if this is something that we could actually work with, because that's how we add value. We're adding value. We're becoming worth our commission by showing them what's possible, by using our professional knowledge to show them what it is that we can do to accomplish their goals. And look, that's where we're coming. You notice every single one of these questions I'm asking. If we get you out of your lease, would you consider purchasing? And if they say yes, they obviously want to purchase, but they have these things that are holding them back. They don't know how to purchase. They don't know how to get out of their lease. They don't know what neighborhood it is. They don't know if they're ready. They say, well, I'm just not ready to purchase yet. Well, when was it that you're looking to purchase? Maybe 6 months down the road. Well, did you know on average how long it takes to close on a home? Anywhere from 60 to 90 days. So we're looking at about 3 months going through the contract process. That leaves us 3 months to find you your dream home. If you want to move in 6 months, we've got to get working now. Notice how we've taken that information it is that they've given us, and now we've taken that and showed how we could add value. Even if they say, I'm not going to be ready for at least a year. Okay, well, great. Well, what I could do for you now, just to make sure you will be ready in a year, is we could get you set up to find the homes. We could start looking. We could start kind of taking a look at some communities. I could send you some information about different communities. We're developing the relationship. We did an episode a couple weeks back on knowing your customer and knowing where it is that they are on a pipeline. We had a pipeline up here, kind of like a funnel thing drawn up on the board. And the people that are a year out, we still need to contact them, but not as directly as the people that are ready to purchase right now. If they say, hey, look, I'm not ready, and maybe about 3 months I'll want to move. That's when my lease is up. Well, 3 months, we've got to get cracking right now to be able to get this moving. We've got maybe a month to find you the home in order for you to close on it by time it is that you move, and give you enough time so you're still within your lease and you don't have to renew and you could still move out. So knowing this information, and if we don't know our target customer, if we don't know what's important and what applies to our target customer, we're not going to have answers to these questions. They'll just say, my credit's bad. Oh, geez, credit's bad. All right, well, okay. Nice talking to you. Here's my card. Call me if your credit ever gets any better. Why would they call you? What value did you add? You didn't. We have to know how to add value because that's what we're paid for. We're paid for adding value. If we're not adding any value, you're going to have a hard time earning commission. That's the scam artists. They try to make money without doing anything valuable. They try to just make the quick, easy bucks without doing anything. Remember, you've got to be intentional. You've got to be active. You've got to help and have this knowledge. And this becomes so much easier when you have a specialization. If you're seeking out first-time home buyers, you need to know what applies specifically to first-time home buyers. And I know we've spent a lot of time talking about that today, but you've got to take any one of these categories. Maybe that home buyer that's looking to move up, to capitalize on the current conditions of the market, to be able to take the equity out of their home right now and use that equity as the down payment on their next home so they could move into a larger home. And figuring out now how it is that we target them. What is it that we do to find those people? So you've got to ask these questions, and then you've got to figure out what's important. So know your customer, know where their customer is, because if you can't find them, it doesn't matter how much it is that you know about first-time home buying and programs and how we can make this possible. That doesn't matter if you don't know where to find these people. But those three things are super important. Number one, knowing who it is that you need to specialize in. Number two, knowing where it is that they are. Number three, knowing what's important to them. What it is, and it could even be something just simple. If you know that the apartment is maybe some sort of wood frame construction, most apartments are wood frame construction, and wood frame construction, it's noisy, it doesn't insulate well. Especially a lot of the older apartments, they're not very energy efficient, and who gets stuck with the electric bill? The tenant. So if we get them in a newer home that's more energy efficient, not only are they having that whole potential for the equity buildup, but they're also having that potential of savings on their monthly electric bill because of having a more energy efficient place to live. So you've got to know what's important, what information it is that these people are going to be finding out. And part of this, because you don't want to get stuck in paralysis by analysis, getting stuck, being paralyzed and not doing anything, not being active because you're busy just focusing on being ready, you're never going to be 100% ready. No matter how long it is that you've been doing this, there's always going to be things that pop up that you don't plan for. So sometimes you've just got to go out there and go off of what it is that you know already. Do a little bit of research. Know a couple of the main things. The stuff it is that we talked about today should give you enough ammunition to be able to go out there and seek out a first-time home buyer. Or if you're working with some different segment of people, know what applies to them. In Tampa, we've got a lot of veterans. Maybe you're trying to tailor your business. Maybe you're a retired veteran yourself, and maybe you want to help other veterans or other active military purchasing home. There's so many programs that are available to people that are in the military, that served in the military. So you want to know about that and what questions it is that they have and what objections it is that they might have. And really remember, the objections, they're just a complaint. It's their excuse as to why they haven't done what it is that they want to do yet. So you've got to know what's important to them so you have the answers when they ask you the question, because you're not adding value if they say, my credit score's not that good. Oh, geez, well, it's not. All right, well, I have no sense of me talking to you then. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. No, especially if their credit isn't as bad as they think it really is. Everyone thinks they've got bad credit, even if they've got an 800 score. Do the scores even go to 800? Pretty sure they do. So even if people have great credit, they might think it's not possible. And especially if they tell you that's the reason that's been holding them back, well, if we get that figured out, if we get you a reasonable loan, would you consider purchasing? And if they answer no, well, what else? What else is holding you back other than just the financing? So we've got to know how to find this information. We need to know how to get the answers that will give us the information that tell us what to do. Because if they told us, hey, our credit's not good and we're not sure where it is that we want to live, okay, we get them with the mortgage loan officer that'll be able to get them with the good first-time home buyer programs. And then we also start sending them some information about different neighborhoods. Hey, this is this neighborhood. This is this neighborhood. What is it that you're looking for in your ideal neighborhood? Oh, okay, I've got this neighborhood over here that I think would be great for you if this is what you're looking for. And now we're solving that problem for them. That's what we do. We solve problems. We solve problems, we add value, and we get paid for that. So got to know what's important to your customer. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we've got a few more minutes left. We're going to get into more detail about really kind of planning for your success. We've talked about understanding your customer and taking action with your customer, but what are some of the other things it is that you've got to do to be successful in real estate? So stick with us. I'm John Criswell. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Criswell with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Criswell, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate every Wednesday, not Friday. Friday we do State of Real Estate. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time we come to you live for Ask the Instructor. And with Ask the Instructor, we're talking about the technical side of the real estate industry. And one of the most technical things is starting your real estate career. When you're moving into this field where you might have some basic knowledge, you're going to learn some good knowledge in your pre-licensing course, but there's still so much to learn out there. That's why we started Ask the Instructor. This was our first live stream that we've done, and we've been doing this for over a year, and I think we're going on 2 years almost now, of doing Ask the Instructor every Wednesday, an hour long, to answer your questions as well as prepare you to be successful. That's what this is all about, giving you the information it is that you need. We originally started this out just for our past students, but we've opened it up to everyone because we know that if we help more people, it's going to be good for us. The more people it is that we can help, the better it is for us. And that's the attitude it is that you want to go into your real estate career as well, that you're helping people. That's how you get paid. That's how you make money. You earn commission. You don't make money. It's impossible. It's illegal. Not impossible, but illegal to make money. To make money, meaning to print money, is illegal. They call that counterfeiting. It can be done, but it's illegal to make money. Earning money, however, is how most businesses generate revenue. That's how real estate professionals generate revenue, is they add value. And the more value it is that you add, the more of a deal it is that you are. And when somebody got a great deal, even though they might have paid full price for your services, and look, when they're a buyer, they're not even paying for your services. It's the seller that's paying for your services. And when they get a great deal for no cost to them, that might be another objection. I know we're kind of getting stuck on this first-time homebuyer stuff here, but this is a huge market because there's such a large share of renters out there currently. It's a very untapped market, especially as people are transitioning into the Tampa Bay area. A lot of people are looking to initially start off renting property, but they eventually want to purchase. They eventually want to buy. You want to know what's important to them, and one of those things that might be holding them back, especially if they've never bought a home before, and one of the things that might turn them off on you almost immediately, is they think it is that they're going to have to fork out money, that they're going to have to pay a commission to you for helping them buy a home. Why would they want to do that when they can just go on Zillow themselves? And how do we find out this information? Well, they say, actually, we get to them where they say, yeah, I have been looking at purchasing homes. I've been browsing on Zillow. I've been looking at a few things. Haven't gone and looked at anything in person yet, but I've had my eye on it. Well, that's great. That's fantastic. What have you found? What do you like? Well, I figured I would just do this myself. Well, look, I completely agree that, you probably want to save money in this process, right? And they say, yeah, of course, I'm looking to save money. Well, good news is my services are paid for by the seller. And did you know how much money I could save you by negotiating that deal, just by being a third party there to negotiate the deal and facilitate the transaction? Even if I do nothing else, that's going to save you money, and it's not going to cost you anything because the seller is going to pay the commission. Oh, okay, well, that's a relief. I thought I was going to have to pay you. So look, you've got to know these things so you can kind of probe for this information. You could probe for, okay, well, what things are most interesting in them? Are they concerned with equity? Do they care more about the space it is that they're going to be in? Are they concerned with being able to even purchase the property? Or are they worried about their credit? Are they worried about you? Are you just somebody showing up? Why else would you be out there knocking on their door or calling them or sending them advertisements if they're not making money? You are making money, it's just not from them. You're their vehicle to make money. That they're your vehicle. Without them, you can't make any money, but your money is made by the seller. And that's a big misconception, especially with first-time home buyers. So you want to get to know these things that are things that people will say. And like I said, you can't plan for everything. This information in this show that you've got today gives you enough ammunition to go out there and start talking to people. You will find things that you might not have an answer to. Maybe they bring up something like the thing that we hadn't talked about yet, about them being worried about you spending money. But maybe you find that out and you don't have an answer to that. Well, know what you could do? You could figure out an answer to that and then get back out there, talk to more people. And now if anyone else brings up that same thing, well, I don't want to have to pay for a real estate agent, great news, you won't have to. Really? Oh yeah, I work for free. At least to you, it's the seller that's going to pay me. Oh, okay, well, that's great. I'm going to fully represent you, but the seller is going to pay me. Isn't that great? I get to help you and it doesn't cost you any money. That is great. How do you argue with that? So, and you'll get better about these answers when you have experience. Even if you know the things it is that you say, when you don't have the experience, you'll start to, the words will come out jumbled when you're talking to people. Your mind will blank on certain things. That's completely normal. But experience, practice takes that away. It makes it where, wow, this person truly is a professional. That's how you become a professional. By actually doing, taking action, being active, not just sitting back and being passive. So some of the other things it is that I do want to talk about, that, and don't get hung up on a lot of these details. A lot of the details, because people will get that, and that's another big mistake. So probably the biggest mistake is, number one, they're sitting around waiting for business. That's the biggest mistake. If you're waiting for business, you'll probably eventually find somebody, or somebody will find you here because you're not even looking for them. Eventually, you stick with it long enough, you probably will find somebody that just happens to look for you and say, hey, are you in real estate? Or somebody magically dials your phone and they say, hey, are you in real estate? Why, yes, I am in real estate. You called the right number. So being passive is the number one mistake. Not doing anything to bring business to you or go to the business. So that's number one mistake. Number two mistake is getting hung up on details. Getting hung up on, well, what? But what's? I don't know. What if they ask this or what if they ask that? Do you even know if they're going to ask this? Do you even know if they're going to ask that? It's important that you do ask yourself these questions up front. So these basic things, the things that are most important to renters, the equity buildup, the possibility that it is possible despite what it is that you have here. And even if you don't know, hey, look, I completely agree with you that. Let's say go back to the financing. Maybe we don't know anything about the financing programs, which we talked about that. So you should talk to some lenders and find out, hey, I'm looking to go after some first-time home buyers. Or even better, just take some action and say, hey, look, if I could find you a lender that will make you a loan with your credit, a reasonable loan, not anything crazy with the interest or anything like that, a reasonable loan, would you consider purchasing? And now notice how that almost has the same exact effect as opposed to when I said earlier, hey, if I've got a great lender that could help you if they could get you a loan. The only difference is, if I could find you a lender that could make you the loan, would you consider purchasing? Well, yeah, that's the only thing holding me back. Done. We just have to now find the lender. And, so many people get hung up on these details, and they'll worry about going and talking to lenders and saying, well, wait a minute, well, what do they need to have? You're not the mortgage loan officer. You're not the mortgage loan originator. They are. It's good to have that information, but it's not essential. It's essential to know that they're the person that your clients need to talk to. So when you do have a client, hey, they're worried about their credit score, and then maybe ask them, then what type of credit score are they going to need? What are the things it is that they're going to need to be able to get a loan? Okay, I'll call you back. I just got to talk to a couple more people. Well, wait a minute. What do you mean you're going to talk to a couple of people? Yeah, I want to make sure that we're getting the best loan for them. Oh, no, send them to me. Well, we'll see. If someone else has a better program or they're more likely to get approved, I don't want to send them to you and have you turn them down. But again, don't get hung up on the details. Because if you get hung up on the details, you'll get stuck in paralysis by analysis. You'll get hung up on just trying to know everything it is that you can before taking any action. And remember, it's the action that yields results. It's actually doing things. It's actually having the people. Not preparing for the people. You could do all this preparation and all this prep work and take so many classes and be continually trying to learn more, and learning is important. That's why we do these shows here, so you've got a dose of information, but go out there and do something. Then come back to us here and say, hey, look, I did this. They gave me this objection. What should I do? What should I say? And now we've got, okay, well, this is real. This is something. The whole thing with fear, they talk about fear, and you might have heard about the acronym with fear, false experiences appearing real. False experiences, not real experiences, false experiences appearing real. If you've got a fear of going and knocking on somebody's door, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that they're going to say no? Are you afraid that they're going to call the police on you or going to go to jail because you went and knocked on their door? That's a false experience. Hey, look, and if the police do show up, they will take action, and they're going to ask you to leave. They might even give you a trespassing warrant. That's probably going to be the worst thing that can happen. Maybe consult an attorney if you're worried about anything more happening to you, but that's probably the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to ask you to leave. And if you refuse to leave, that's where they're probably going to issue you a trespassing warrant and tell you never to come back there again. But I mean, you're not going to lose your license from that or anything. So again, consult an attorney. This is not constituting legal advice. But you're not going to know that this isn't so bad until you actually try it. You're not going to know that, they're actually going to generally want your help if you come from that perspective of actually helping. So, like I said, take action. Because with actions, you find out that, okay, yeah, those false experiences, those what-if scenarios, if you catch yourself saying, well, what if this or what if that, that's where you're getting too bogged down by the details. If you're worried about designing the perfect business card, you're getting too involved in the details. You do need a business card, but it doesn't need to be a perfect business card. Most people aren't even going to really look at your business card, and if they do, it's maybe to look at your phone number. If your phone number's on there, check that box. They're not going to say, oh, look at this guy, look at this girl, look at this person. Forget them. This business card is 2 different colors here, and it should be at least 3 different colors. They're not getting my business. No. Oh, this looks like a 3-year-old designed it. Maybe that kind of hurts us in the long run, but it's not going to be the thing that ultimately will kill a deal. So don't get bogged down in these details. Go out there and take action, and then use that data that you're getting from the actions. You go out there, and whatever it is that you're doing to try to find business, let's say, again, you're talking about the first-time home buyers, and you're going out there to apartment complexes. And to give you a story about this, back when I started in real estate, this is actually something that I did. Is I went out there to go door knocking in an apartment complex. And, I definitely made some mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes with that, but these mistakes taught me. They helped me learn. But one of these apartment complexes, more than one actually, I got calls about of saying, hey, look, I saw that you're leaving flyers here. There's no solicitation allowed in here. Oh, I didn't see. I'm sorry about that. Oh, no big deal. Hey, look, if you've got any renters, send them over to us because we'll pay you $500. Really? Okay, great. I'll definitely do that. Thank you. And that was my worst experience with door knocking in a no solicitation apartment complex. Now, results may vary. Again, this is not legal advice, but that was my worst experience. And I did quite a bit of door knocking. So look, taking action, and look, if that just completely terrifies you, look, you don't have to do that. I recommend that because it's a very sweat equity strategy. That's why I did that, is I didn't have money to start in real estate. I was worked on a bootstrap budget, but I did have time. Time was what I had. Now today, time is more of the issue. But back when I started my real estate career, plenty of time to do whatever. So why not go try to hunt down some clients? And so I did that, and like I said, that was my worst experience. And going before that, my heart was, I remember the first time I went door knocking, my heart was pounding, and I was so scared, I was so worried. And the first couple doors I knocked on, I barely could get the words out. I was like, hello, my name is John Criswell. I'm a realtor. Oh, no, wait, don't close the door. So, look, that'll happen. You'll have some bad experiences. But those bad experiences, those failures, are ultimately what's going to make better. What's more important is that you're taking action. Because the details don't get you business. The planning doesn't get you business. It's the action that gets you business. So go out there, get some data, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't, do more of what works, do less of what doesn't. Really don't do anything that doesn't. But find out what works and do what works. You say something to somebody and they say, you know what, I do actually want to buy a house. Okay, now you maybe take some notes after you're done talking with them. What did I say that made them want to work with me? You keep track of that, and then you do it again and do it again and again. And now all of a sudden you've got a whole pipeline of business. And now you can start spending money on advertising. You could start investing in your business. You could maybe hire an assistant. You could really grow and scale your business, but it all starts with having business to begin with and finding those first couple deals, which that's usually the hardest to do, is getting your first couple deals done. Your first few deals are the most difficult, but get through them. Put the action out there. Make the mistakes. Have your failures, but recover. Fail forward, as they like to say. Make your mistakes and get better. So that's about all the time it is we have on this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope that you do take action on some of this information. Look, if you don't have a real estate license yet, and this is something that you're interested in, call us up. Our phone number's below. It's 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. You can also check us out online at tampaschool.com. We've got a lot of information on there to help you launch your real estate career. We want you to be successful. We want to see you out there making money, because if you don't, that's bad on us. That's why we do these shows. We want to see you making money. We want to help you. We want to do everything it is that we can, and that's why we started Ask the Instructor and later State of Real Estate, these two shows, and why we do videos every single day to give you knowledge and information that will help you have a successful real estate career. Because if we can make you successful, you'll be a customer of ours for life. So that's our goal, to make you a customer for life by making you successful. We're here to help you. We will answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Again, that phone number is 813-928-0106. You can actually see the steps to get your real estate license at License FL. That's License FL, like Florida, licensefl.com. So check that out. Again, if you've got questions, 813-928-0106, 813-928-0106. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you Friday for State of Real Estate. If you've been thinking about real estate, look, in this current market, it's hard not to. There's so many opportunities that exist out there for residential real estate, commercial real estate, business brokerage, property management. I mean, it's ridiculous how much opportunity lies from having a real estate license. So look, if you've been thinking about getting a real estate license, I mean, it's minimal cost compared to starting other careers and starting other businesses to get into this. So I urge you to check it out and give it a try. I mean, even if you're just using your license for personal use, you've got huge, immense benefits there. Go to this link. It's licensefl.com. That's licensefl.com. Put that link in the description. It's got your step-by-step guide to get a Florida real estate license. And look, check it out. Give us a call. We're here to answer any questions it is that you have, and go out there and make some money.
Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com. Did you know that statewide only about 50% of test takers pass their state exam on the first try? At the Tampa School of Real Estate, we've broken down passing class and state exams into 4 simple steps. learning the information, reinforcing the information, testing your knowledge, and being confident and prepared. View the details of the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.